everyone, this is Juliet Iyeyemi, your TRC relationship counselor. This is TRC vlog coming with you with another unique story. This is awesome. It's going to blow your mind. And you know what? I have a wonderful woman here today that's going to take us through the process and everything she's been through. We're talking about stigma. Stigma today. Stigma is what we're talking about today. And this woman is going to educate us with the experience that she has. You know, they say if you have experience, you can speak. So she's got experience, she's going to speak to us, she's going to teach us, she's going to help you come out of that place where you find yourself being stigmatized by people, your family, or wherever. Well, she's going to help us out. Please help me welcome Pamela. Pamela, would you please introduce yourself to the world?
My name is Pamela. I'm a minister of God. I'm a pastor, but I like to be addressed as Pamela. I'm a mother of 4 wonderful, beautiful children.
Wow.
One of them was diagnosed with special needs in terms of, was diagnosed with autism and learning disability, and then I'll talk a little bit about that. And yes, so I have been a single parent for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
By the grace of God, partnering with the Holy Spirit, bringing up my wonderful children. And I'm also a registered nurse. And my specialism in learning disability, but I currently work in the mental health sector as well. I work in a mental health hospital.
Wow.
So yes, and I actually, God gave me an inspiration for, well, a long time ago, to break down the stigma that is associated with different things and different areas of life that people don't want to talk about, that people shy away from.
Okay.
And
we don't want Pastor Pam to give you everything yet. we want her to really process us through what she's been through.
Yes.
Okay, so stigma basically is more or less an identity given to you by someone else apart from who God says you are. People put a name on you for one reason or other. But we're going to start by asking Pamela, what's the beginning of this story? Let's start with the beginning of this story.
Okay. Well, the beginning of the story was actually is behind my son. But first of all, is behind, you know, being a single parent. You know, I'm partnering, like I said, with the Holy Spirit, bringing up my children. In society, especially, you know, in the Christendom and the African community, single parents, you know, in most cases, for the best part of it, are kind of like they're stigmatized. Yes, people blame them, you know, for the breakup of the relationship, because nobody really understand or know the genesis of that situation, why people end up the way they are. And you know, in many respects, it's the women who are blamed. You know, they are the ones who are blamed, and they're the ones who people think they, you know, they've cause of it, or choose to be the way they are. But I mean, that's part of it as well. But in addition to that, my son, he's 19 now, God bless him. He was diagnosed with autism and learning disability over 10 years ago.
Okay, Pastor Pam, hold on a minute, because there's a few things I'm saying. There's one stigma for being a single parent, another stigma for having an autistic son.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So that's 2 things you had to deal with.
Yes.
Now, from the age of 0 to 19, must have been a long process.
It was a long process. I mean, again, for many people who don't know how these things work, and that's why one of the things, if I may, Pastor Juliet, to just throw this in, that's one of the things that I do as well, you know, not only as a nurse, but only as a person, as a human being, and it's my passion to raise awareness, you know, in terms of amongst a black and ethnic minority, especially at the African community, to destigmatize, you know, these issues, so people don't see as something that, you know, they should be ashamed to talk about. You know, they shouldn't see somebody who has a mental health issue as somebody who they should run away from because it's contagious. They're gonna catch it as well. You know, so that's one of the reasons why, you know, I do what I do on a Sunday at 7:30 in the evening. We'll talk about that later, so people can actually, you know, tune in and gain some knowledge as well. So as you say, yes, I'm dealing with the stigma as a single parent, but most importantly, you know, the stigma that's associated with bringing up a son with learning disability. You know, because in the African community, especially among the black ethnic minority, you know, it's not something that we talked about. And one of the things that really pains me so much is the lack of understanding and the lack of support among, you know, the Christian community, among the churches, because you find a lot of parents that have children with learning disability or any form of mental health, you know, you will find many of them are not able to come to church because when they bring their children to church, you know, like, you know, one of the characteristics, one of the things that they display, you know, the behavior will be rocking, shouting, you know, like my son biting himself when he's anxious because they're not able to communicate their needs.
So the frustration.
So as a result of that, you know, they exhibit their behavior in terms of shouting, rocking, bouncing, you know, and so provision is not made for them in the church. And a lot of people, I've seen situations where, you know, members will not come and sit next to me or next to my son, you know, in the church. You understand? So think about that.
So basically, you know, so you're not just dealing with the community, you're not just dealing with people who understand. You're dealing with people who are supposed to understand and show care and love. Absolutely,
because that's what the Bible tells us, that, you know, we should love your neighbor as yourself. I mean, it says to us, if we say we love God whom we don't see in the physical, but then, you know, we don't show love to our brothers and sisters, so what can we say? You know, I see my brother and see my sister, and yet, you know, I don't want to empathize with your situation. I don't want to, you know, give you the support. You know, help meet your needs, you see. So this is the thing that really breaks my heart as well. And so, you know, right now we feel, especially in this COVID-19 and this new norm, that the awareness needs to be out there. People need to be educated. You know, whatever stigma. The thing is, Pastor Julie, if I just want to say, you know, if anybody asks, what is stigma? In fact, let me just say here, like the English dictionary said, stigma is when someone views you in a negative way because you have a distinguished characteristics or personal traits that, you know, people thought to be or actually is a disadvantage. You get me? So it's like a negative stereotype, right? And so unfortunately this negative attitude and belief to people, you know, attributed to people that have mental health condition, people who are divorced, you know,
something not normal to them, something that doesn't look normal to them. So you're stigmatized because of that. For example, those who are divorced, those who are single, you have a baby before you got married, and you have a disabled child or one thing or another. But you know, the fact is that I think the more education some people have, some will improve. But there's this also, like we say, where we're from, culture. If you have a child that has got a challenge, the assumption is that the mother did something wrong.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you face that. The mother did something wrong. Never the father.
No.
Never the father. The mother did something wrong.
No.
And it's so sad because it's not necessarily so.
No. It's definitely
not necessarily so.
Definitely.
Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
There are cases that, little fraction, the cases where maybe a person has been drinking and smoking while you were pregnant, and that affected the child.
Yeah.
That is completely different from a person carried a child and came out with a baby like this. And what do? You love that child, you take care of that child, you do everything you can to give that child a better life.
Yes.
But yet the community and the culture and your people will not let you be.
Absolutely.
Do you understand me?
I
I know that the child probably does not understand fully the kind of stigma they're putting on you because of him. But I'm very sure in their little subconscious mind they will feel like this person is not coming to play with me. Why?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the thing is, the mothers are blamed, you know, primarily, you know, for the way the children are. You get me? And in many respects, in our culture, as you say, it's either the mother is a witch, you know, or they've sold their babies to the devil, or they've sold their soul to the devil. Absolutely, you know, this is what they've been experienced. And you see, and the worst part of it is that we've heard stories and we've seen stories where, you know, especially in Africa, where, you know, a child who was born as a Down syndrome, you know, with different features in her face or his or her face, what happened was, you know, those children, you know, some people say they were meant to be sacrificed, you know, to the devil or something like that, you know. And you know what, I'll give you an example. Like my sister was telling me a heartbreaking, heart-rending story many years ago. She said when they were growing up, a child, one of their friends, you know, fell pregnant, you know, out of wedlock when they were going to school, you know, a teenage pregnancy. And obviously, for one reason or another, that child ended up, you know, being born Down syndrome. So instead of the parents supporting this young person to bringing up this child, my sister said it was so heartrending at the time. This girl will be the only one carrying her child. Nobody in the community, nobody in the yard would actually touch that child, because in their mind that child is possessed with the devil, with demon. You know, she said it was so heartrending that they would see this woman carrying this child on her back, going about her business. Nobody would support her.
Herself and the child.
Yes, and the child. She said eventually, one day, they never saw this woman carrying this child. You know, after a while, they investigated, asked what had happened. And this girl said to my sister, said to the friends that the mom said the child, you know, belongs to a devil or bush or something. They went to sacrifice this child. They took this child, left this child in the bush to be eaten by an animal.